So today's presentation is all about the Madison College Foundation. And I know that, I believe strongly that the foundation explanation that you're going to hear today is really going to resonate with all of us. The presentation is going to talk about all the ways that the Madison College Foundation helps support students at Madison College. Lan and I are supporters of Madison College Foundation because we've seen firsthand how the impact of the dollars we've given have helped so many students as they've gone to Madison College. Our speaker is a fellow Rotarian. Several people in the room already tried to recruit her for our club, but she's a member of Downtown Madison. She also, in her past life, was involved with a lot of nonprofit type agencies. And so firsthand, she got to see the power of education, but also some of the impediments, namely the lack of funding for students that needed. So for her now being part of the Madison Community Foundation, it's just kind of a natural for her to step into this. The time that she's been has just helped grow the foundation. The purpose of the foundation, as you're going to hear, is all about providing scholarships to students in need. And as a segue in the transition, I'm going to have Randy speak for he said 2.5 minutes, just to tie in what our Madison South Rotary Foundation does with scholarships and how it ties in with what Maggie is going to be talking about. So Randy, why don't you remind people here about our scholarships?
All right. Thanks, Mike. In addition to the fact that we are convening our meetings at the Goodman campus of Madison College, one of the primary connections between Madison South Rotary and Madison College has been our college scholarship program. And for those of you that are new to the club, about 10 years ago, we as a club decided to revisit and reimagine our college scholarship program. We worked hard down at the Broad Stand to raise that money, and we wanted to make sure that we were getting the biggest bang for our buck that we could. We wanted to make sure that our scholarships were really making a difference. So we conducted a number of club surveys, and we convened 2 club forums dedicated exclusively to our club scholarship, college scholarship program. And as a result of that process, we came up with a format that I think gives us one of the most impactful college scholarship programs of any service club our size in the area. The goal of our program is to identify the most deserving, the most needy high school seniors. In order to be eligible for a Madison South Rotary College Scholarship, the student must have a significant financial need. And the word significant should be capitalized and underlined 3 or 4 times. Many of our recipients have an expected family contribution, and that's the amount of money the family can reasonably be expected to contribute to the student's college education. Many of our recipients have an expected family contribution of 0. That means that due to the family's financial circumstances, they cannot reasonably be expected to contribute even $100 to the student's college education. We give a very, very strong preference to those students who will be attending Madison College. Madison College has a number of outstanding 1-year and 2-year job-oriented programs ranging from automotive mechanics to nursing and healthcare to cosmetology to computer programming and so many other programs. And Madison College also has a 2-year general studies program in which all of the credits transfer to virtually any 4-year college or university. Full-time tuition fees runs about $4,500 a year, although that can vary depending on the particular program. So our scholarships really do make a difference. We then give preference to those who would be the first in their family or in the first generation of their family to attend college. Study after study has shown that breaking that barrier has a dramatic impact, not only on the student receiving the scholarship, but on younger siblings and relatives and on future generations. And finally, we give preference to those students who have overcome other significant challenges. It's at that point that we look at grade point average, employment history, community service, and extracurricular activities. The students receive a $1,000 scholarship during their first year of studies. Those who continue in good standing receive an additional $1,000 scholarship during their second year of studies. I've had the privilege of serving on the scholarship selection committee for the last 10 years. And every year, I just continue to be amazed at our recipients. These are young men and women who have faced extraordinary challenges, and yet they persevere. And our scholarships don't just make it easier for them to attend college. For many of our recipients, it's our scholarships that make it possible for them to attend college. So that, in a nutshell, is our club's connection with Madison College.
Well, Maggie, why don't you come on up and fill in the missing pieces on this whole foundation that you've been putting together. So, here you go.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, thank you guys for having me. Again, my name is Maggie, and thank you, Mike, for what you do, and Randy as well, and to all of you for supporting Madison College students and really being intentional about really thinking about how to help those in our community who need it the most change their lives. And you guys are really doing that. You know, as Mike shared, my background has always been in nonprofit, and I've worked in housing, homelessness, and education. So Madison College has really been a nice fit for me, and I think it sounds like for your club the way it works, because you know I really have a heart to help people and see their lives changed, and Madison College really provides that in a lot of different ways. You know, we're really working with students across the community who are really persevering and overcoming odds, but also really willing to put in a lot of work to achieve their goals and see their lives changed. Madison College, you know, one of the taglines is it's a place where people are valued for who they are and who they will become. And I've heard that story over and over from people who are attending, from people who've graduated, that the way they are treated at Madison College, the tools they're given, the advising that they're given has really helped them find a path in life where they thrive. In fact, I've heard from a lot of people, a lot of students or alums who start out in a field and, you know, like maybe they want to go into nursing and then they find out, oh, you know what, I don't like blood. And the staff really helps them figure that out. Like maybe what you want to do is healthcare in biotech, maybe that's more, or in respiratory therapy in an area. And so students are really personally guided through that. It's a place where people aren't weeded out. They're really encouraged to become, you know, the best versions of themselves. So today I'm going to share a little bit about the college, about our programs, and then about the foundation and our work to support students, including our Scholarship Promise program. So this is the Madison College mission, vision, and values. I just want to point out, you know, that respecting our students is a core value. We're making higher education available to all, and we have a commitment to the evolving needs of the community. Sometimes it's hard for me to even keep up with the change in programs and the change in focus, and that's because we are meeting the needs of the community as they change as well. The needs of the students, the needs of employers, really making sure that when our students leave Madison College, they have the skills that they need to use in their workplace right away. So that means we work with employers on all of our programs to make sure that as their needs change, they tell us and we adjust that to the programs, or we get different technology in the building to make sure that's delivered right away. So our enrollment is over 22,000. That's a little low because of COVID. Sometimes we're looking at more around 30,000 students. And we have a variety of programs, including our degree and transfer programs. We serve those students in 12 counties. We have 3 campuses in Madison, including the Goodman South campus, which we're in now, Fort Atkinson, Watertown, Portage, and Reedsburg.
Yeah, that 3,400 graduates, that's annually?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, this was pulled from an end of year report, that number. And the graduates of our college have a very high employment rate. You know, if people are graduating and not finding jobs, we close the programs. And then sometimes we reopen those programs as things flex. But we're really focused on making sure that people are earning a living wage, that our graduates are skilled in areas where they can support their families. And a high percentage of folks stay in Wisconsin too and are employed within our district. You know, that's really important to us that we are focusing on the community we serve. About half of our students are first generation. That means that the college has a lot of support systems throughout the college to make sure that those students are doing well, and not only for the students, but also for their family. It's a really big transition to get into the higher education. And for some of the families too, it's a big learning curve. And so there's support systems, not only some centralized ones, but that faculty and staff are given tools across campus. Yeah, go ahead.
You say 28 or 29 is the average age of that's students who are in degree programs.
Yeah, and
So that doesn't include the adult education and other kinds of non-degree.
I believe that's true. Yeah,
Okay.
and then
I'm just it just strikes me as high, but
yeah, well, what we found is, you know, there are a lot of students that come to us straight out of high school, and here at the Goodman South campus, we have our STEM Academy, which is for students who are in high school. They're high promise students from low income families, but we're also really a place for second chances. You know, a lot of people come back to Madison College, whether they went to college and dropped out, they never went to college in the first place. Some people went to college, found themselves in something that wasn't really a good fit and come back. But it's a place where people are really welcomed, you know, no matter what age they are and included. And we have a lot of supports for that too. We have a lot of our students are parents. A lot of our students are supporting family in different areas. So because of that, we're really looking to make sure that we have a lot of different things like childcare or alternative hours, or we've always, even before COVID, we've had a lot of hybrid classes to make sure that people, you know, whatever their barriers are, we'll try to help them find a way to get those credentials. And as Randy said earlier, our average tuition is about $4,500 for the whole year, which, while it's lower than other institutions, it is a significant barrier for many in our community. You know, those who are living paycheck to paycheck to decide that it's time to go pursue an education and invest in themselves.
Is that full-time?
That's
Full-time tuition?
full-time, yeah. And many students do go part-time, and there is some variability with degrees.
Maybe, what do you do with students who get a scholarship and get in there, but then the second year they can't, or the third year they can't? They're about halfway. They're halfway to 2 seconds.
They're able to continue to apply for scholarships. Is that what?
Well, that would help if they're in their second, third year.
Yeah, we do try to sort of monitor that, and some of our scholarships are renewable, so they get it for both, you know, for multiple semesters, but they're welcome to apply every semester, and many do. So, I'm not sure that answered, but so Madison College has over 180 associate degree, technical diplomas, apprenticeship, and certificate programs. And then 140 transfer programs. So our associate degrees and technical diplomas are, it's really representing the workforce of our community. There's a wide range of programs that we offer, and a lot of things that we offer at different levels. Like there's an electronics technician program where you can, in 2 years, become an electronics technician, work in the field. Or there's another pathway where you're an electronics engineer technician, and that's when you're going to probably transfer to a 4-year institution. But you still have that ability to get a job right from that, should you want to. So there's a lot of there are a lot of different tiers built into curriculum to help students maximize their potential, you know, whatever that ends up being. And another example, you know, we have certificates. So like we have a renewable energy certificate, and that can be paired with a lot of different programs. You know, our HVAC program, our construction program, our architecture program. or those energy programs. So we're really looking at what those needs in the community are. How do we make sure that students are leaving with those skills to be on the forefront of what the change in the community is going to be. I have another slide of more programs. So yeah, you can see there's a wide variety of things that we do. Our liberal arts transfer program, you know, as Randy said earlier too, it does transfer across the state, but we also have a lot of articulation programs, which means we've worked very closely with colleges and universities to make sure that our programs, particularly programs like our engineering programs, are up to the same standard that those universities are looking for. And then some of our accreditation programs have automatic acceptance if you meet certain criteria. You know, so we're really working to make sure that our students are given those opportunities. You know, they don't have to jump through another hurdle. They've met that standard. They're welcome to that four-year institution. Okay, so the foundation. So we really partner with the college to make sure that students aren't denied an education due to financial barriers. We're really working to support the college and its work to make sure that everyone is welcomed, everyone is able to access. We do that in three main ways, through scholarship support, through emergency grants, and through Scholars with Promise. So the scholarship process, first of all, we've contributed over 20 million to students since 1973. And while that's great, we're also working to grow to meet the needs. We see the needs growing in the community. Our students apply through a centralized scholarship portal. We work with donors to set up named funds where people can designate who the funds go to if there's certain criteria. And there are people who set up very specialized scholarships, and a lot of times it's, I think, like memorials. But a lot of people are coming to Madison College because they want to make a difference in the community. They see the students, just like you guys, they see that this is a place where your dollar goes a little further and you can help people with the biggest needs. This past 2 years, we awarded 1355 scholarships and 1476 respectively. But just for this upcoming spring semester, we've had over 1,000 applications. So we're having our gaps. We're growing the amount of support we have, but we're also seeing the number of students who are coming to us grow. And we're also working really hard to make sure that that message is out to the students with the most barriers. And so, you know, the students who have the most barriers are the ones that need to see that information more times and more ways, hear it more personally. So we're working with staff and faculty across the college to make sure that they know these resources are available and that they can access them. Yeah, so some of this is that information. We award about $1.5 million every year. For us, you know, we're not trying to award the students who have like the most academic prowess. You know, we're really working similar to what you guys are doing to make sure that students who need it the most have access. So our three qualifications, our minimum qualifications, are that students have at least a 2.0, they demonstrate financial need, and they're enrolled in a minimum of 6 credits. You know, the impact of this is really incredible. It really, I know you've seen some of the thank you letters from your club, and, you know, we get to see those every day to see that the dollars are really the difference between people being able to attend or not. And it also, I think, gives them hope to receive a letter that they have been selected, that someone has invested in them, that they've been seen as potential. And we get a lot of messages where people have, you know, cried when they opened it, you know, just not sure how they were going to make it work, what they were going to do. You know, one thing about, you know, kind of reiterating about the students we help, I talked to one faculty member who was just talking about how some students come to Madison College and they will say, well, I was a bad student, you know, they're at Madison College, and she'll just share with them, you know, just because you were a bad student somewhere else doesn't mean you can't be a great student here. And I think that attitude can really change the way people invest in themselves and the way they perform in courses. And this is just a little story. I wanted to share a couple of stats too. We have about 35% of the students we award are students of color. And we have about 8% that are single parents. And the majority of the students right now are female who we support. The average award amount that we're giving out is $954 per semester. So then switching gears a little bit, we also provide emergency grants. Emergency grants are different than scholarships. Scholarships you have to apply for, you have to write a couple essays, you have to get them in on time. There's a lot of steps and a lot of people on campus who are helping students achieve that. Emergency grants are in the moment, things that happen that are going to prevent students from attending school. You know, we see a lot of food insecurity, a lot of transportation needs, a lot of childcare needs. And so those requests come to us, and typically our funding sources allow it to be a one-time support of up to $500. And we try to get those to students within 48 hours. You know, we're really looking to have that be an immediate response to student needs. Yeah, what we don't want to happen is that snowball effect of one bill that you can't pay leading to you ending up dropping out of school. And then I'm just going to talk a little bit about our Scholars of Promise program. Scholars of Promise is a program that is, you know, the idea of a promise program was first introduced by President Obama as a way to like bring justice and equity to some of the education system. And so it's a program that covers full tuition and fees for up to 6 semesters for students who are very low income, but it also comes with wraparound services and some expectations of those students. The students are required to have a mentor and be a mentor. They have volunteer opportunities and workshops, and they have to maintain certain grade points. But if they do, they can get through Madison College, and then if they maintain a certain GPA, UW-Madison automatically accepts them and covers an additional 4 semesters tuition free. So it's really a pathway for the very lowest income students to make it all the way to a 4-year degree. Oh. The program has its 6th cohort, and there's currently 233 students in it. Over 80% are students of color, and 150 have now graduated or transferred from the program. And there are several who have now made it all the way through UW-Madison, and we're working on collecting their stories.
How do they cover other expenses beyond tuition?
Yeah, so Madison College has a book rental program now. Yeah, so we work to, the book rentals are much cheaper, like $15 a semester or something instead of free. That's something that was instituted as a way to that playing field. In terms of living costs, many of the students for this program are right out of high school. So many live at home or many work other jobs. You know, so it doesn't cover their other expenses.
So they're required to be full-time students.
They were before COVID, and there's been a little more flexibility during COVID. But I think it might go back to being full-time. Yeah.
A number of our scholarship recipients are Scholars of Promise to help cover some of those. Randy, you could probably speak to it more, but as the treasurer, I have the pleasure of writing the checks, you know, so there are a number of our scholarship recipients who get that assistance directly and to pay for books and
That makes sense.
transportation and other things.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, because for many of those students, you know, the way they find about the program is through high school counselors, through nonprofits. You know, it's really students. You know, most of them are really a lot of them weren't even thinking about college. They thought, this is not something for me. This isn't something that's in my future. And someone said to them, there's a program and you can go. And even their parents are like, this isn't for us. How are we going to do this? And so finding about that program, a lot of the education comes to their parents as well. Like, this is what this provides. This is what it means. These are the expectations. And it also covers DACA and undocumented students are also eligible. So it's really important in our community to help those students who can't access a lot of the resources that many of our students can to help pay for education. Sorry.
This is different than the Odyssey project as well as people program and then there's another one as well. This is completely different, separate. Is it right?
That's right. Yeah. Odyssey is a similar, but directly into UW Madison. And the funding is covered by like the Badger Promise, the Bucky Promise. But they're similar.
And
Yeah.
people is different as well. People
Mhm.
program.
Yeah, that one I don't know as much about, but yeah, they're similar but separate. Yeah, and that's all I have for today. Do you guys have any questions or anything else? Yeah.
I'll just share a comment that I want to thank Madison College has partnered with Habitat for Humanity through the construction program that they have and helped us with homes and deconstruction and all kinds of things.
Yeah, go ahead.
I just want to give a little bit of a personal testimonial. When I was 27, I was a single dad with 4 kids. I was able to go when they started going to Madison School. I was able to go back to MHC, the college transfer credit program. They supported me as I was returning adult student. They had great resources there. Can't remember if I had to use an emergency grant, but I think I might have back then. And later on, one of my daughters attended for some credits and didn't get a degree program, but now is very gainfully employed in Atlanta, working in the theater. But more recently, my niece did not think when she graduated high school that she had any valid career path, but she got interested in the MedTech program. She took it. She excelled in spite of her nerve-wracking things. Now she's very happily employed, and I just checked it. Literally just checked it over that we're seeing this great presentation, and yeah, she's definitely for multiple generations of my family. Madison College has helped us.
That's awesome. Thank you for saying that. Yeah.
So maybe I probably missed that, but the foundation is just particularly interested in helping make sure the students have the money they need to go to school, just to go to buildings or.
Yes, that's one of the things I love most about working there, honestly, is that we're raising money, like our mission is to ensure students are not denied an education. And so that means all of our outreach is to provide support for students. And it's not that every once in a while someone comes to us and wants to support something and we will, accept that and work on it, but that's not our main focus. That's not our mission.
Really question.
Yeah.
The book rental program, which by the way, I couldn't have had it back then. Is that subsidized through school grants, publishers, and how does that work?
I'm not sure. I can get back to that. There must be, I bet you're right that there's some subsidy, but it definitely is in an effort to make it more equitable, particularly because some fields have much more expensive books than others. Yeah.
Could you speak just a little bit, because I don't know, in order to tell athletes in a program I help with, how does childcare work? What specifically, you have a childcare center, right? And can students drop their kid off and they work that out so they can attend?
Yeah, it's a little complicated. That's something we're working on. We do have a childcare center on site at the church campus. It's like a lot of childcare centers where it has a wait list and it is prioritized by students who need it. And then there are subsidies for those students, and also some people have set up scholarships for those parents, either for their childcare cost or for them to attend. But it's something we're working on. We've been talking about, Madison College has been talking holistically about childcare with the other nonprofits in the area. particularly in the Goodman South area, about whether we should build a new building, what that looks like. We also train here at the Goodman South campus, we train the early childcare teachers. So it's something we're doing both sides of. It's something Dr. Daniels, the college president, is very passionate about and is on the agenda for this year. You know, he's talking to people right now about it. So I think it's something we're hoping to be a leader in address. But right now it's still similar to the other, you know, the other situations where you have to get on the list, but it is prioritized by students. Yeah, well, and then one thing I didn't mention, but I will say is that, you know, Madison College really, we do have a lot of partnerships with the nonprofits in the area. You know, like Just Bakery, we were talking about the students getting accreditation through Madison College there. We work with Centro Hispano, with the YWCA. I'm not sure exactly what we do with Habitat, but we do have a lot of accreditation through the community. And so we're really working to make sure that students receive those, you know, the accreditation for what they have done, and making sure that it doesn't have to be centralized with us. We're really working to make sure that is across the community. And we're really thankful to have some partners that partner with us, and we're thankful a lot of people like you give scholarships externally, and that is very transformational for our students. And so it really is making a difference. So thank you for what you're doing. Oh, some of that yours.
Yeah, maybe there's an agenda underneath there somewhere. There it is. That's it. Oh, that's mine too.
He's like, give me that.
That's right.
That's mine too.
Feeling his homework. Right? That's mine. That's right. Thank you very much. Maggie, maybe one thing we can have a further discussion on. One of the things we talked to Nidra here about is a need for some of the students who come here in the evening and don't come straight from work and don't have a meal. And so we've talked about, and we'll kind of, this is in the discussion stage, we haven't presented to the club yet, but it'll probably come up maybe for the grants, is having a mobile cart that maybe is locked, and they can just roll it out and provide some kind of, you know, food of some form of things that they can microwave, whatever it is, something that our club could purchase the cart and maybe help stock that, and or maybe we can get some grant money for that from your side too. Maybe it's something we can have a further discussion about, because I think it would be a real nice thing for us to give. We're getting this room for free, guys. And, you know, everything that you see in here is, you know, we haven't had to pay at all for that except for the meals. And so I think it'd be something nice to get back. So anyway, we'll have a further discussion about that. That'd be great. I was going to ask if they had a food pantry. They don't have one here that I'm not, to my understanding. Okay, great. Well, thank you very much for being our speaker today, Maggie. With all of our speakers, we make a contribution to Polio Plus Fund in your honor. We will do the same for you. We do not meet next week. Next week is in the next 2 weeks. 26th and the January 2nd due to the holidays being just people will not be around. So and we'll have a new process in place. We will not have the register for lunch. We are going to be providing a buffet lunch, and that's our new process that we kind of unveiled a couple weeks ago. So anyhow, there'll be an announcement that goes out letting everybody know that there's the meeting coming up and who the speaker is the week before, and then the Monday morning, so that everybody who's on Zoom will have the link so that they can do that. But it's just, we're going to just give it a run here and see how it works in the first quarter with the buffet meal. So anyhow, that's coming up. Our next meeting will be on the 9th of January, and Michael Flaherty will be here to talk about the future of print journalism and what it means for society. Thank you very much for being in person and in Zoom. And remember, service above self, and happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, and have a great holiday, everybody.